Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's Wednesday, February the 7th, the year 2018. Do you know when to quit? Sometimes it's best to just shut your terminal down, walk away. I had one of those days yesterday. Or was it the day before? I think it was, might have been the day before. Or it might have been both days that I think about it. It just seemed like I was doing everything wrong. I mean, if I'd go long, the trade would go short. If I go short, the trade would go long. And it was just like I was out of phase, just discombobulated, out of the groove, out of the zone. So finally, I worked my way out of a mess, and I said, "That's it. I'm quitting. I've got to regroup." Part of the problem is that some of us have egos, and ego won't let you quit. And it's not quitting forever. It's just temporary. It's like a timeout. But sometimes that's a blow to the ego, and you'd rather just stay in there and fight, and you just wind up digging the hole deeper and deeper instead of climbing out. So you need to set up some parameters so you know when to quit. It could be something as simple. Hey, if you have 3 losing trades in a row, you're done for the day. If you have start the week off, you have 3 losing days in a row, you just might be done for the week. And if the first week's a disaster, you might have to just take the next week off. So you really need to set up some parameters for when you stop trading. And it doesn't have to be negative. You might say, hey, you know what? I did twice my goal. I'm on a roll. But, maybe I better pick up my chips and not push my luck. So definitely have parameters so you know when to quit. That being said, it kind of leads right into the old money and risk management screen there. Willing to lose. How much money are you willing to lose on one particular trade or on any one particular day? I mean, this is an indication of when to quit. I mean, it's really funny because sometimes when I, maybe I'll watch these videos myself, or even when I'm, talking in a microphone, I'm listening to myself, and it's just, it's just all such simple advice, simple strategy, simple methods. It's just so simple. Yet there's a few moving pieces, and sometimes we focus so much on one piece we take our eye off the other pieces, and you know what happens next. Looking at the weekly. Okay, we know we had this breakout here, and obviously right here we had some price action. It broke through that low and then it turned back up. So if you were looking at horizontal lines, you might see right there was a there was a push off of this level here. So you see that when this bar closed, the price came down, but then it pushed all the way off that level. So you see right here, it came here, it pushed again, but then it's pushed back. That's, talking about price action. That's just one way of analyzing it. You can see here the buyers pushed hard, sellers pushed back, and then buyers, are pushing back right there. So right here, if you were short and you see price coming back across that line, hey, it's time to take your money off the table. It's like we said, take all you can, give none back. Well, sometimes you give a little bit back. You don't like to, but that's just the way it is. But right there, that wouldn't have been too much of a give back now, would it? I mean, we're only talking what? well, in this case on the weekly, it looks like 34 pips. But if you were in here to at this point, let's see if you got in at this point right here and you made it to there, you were up 115 pips. So you would have cashed out with a nice trade, just playing off of that price action. And we still have the euro yen without the gap fill. And since it gapped down and it's 229 pips below the weekly open, wouldn't be fading that gap at the moment. And that wouldn't be prudent. Looking at the daily, you see we've got some nice ranges here. And later in the day, I don't know when you guys watch these videos, that reminds me, something I've been wanting to ask you guys. I post these videos on a few different forums. If you wouldn't mind typing in the forum, in the comment, type in the forum where you found, you know, my video the first time you found it. Hopefully you're all subscribers by now, unless you're just tuning in. But I'd like to know, because I'm just curious if which forums people are watching the videos, because if nobody's watching a video from a certain forum, it's like almost pointless to put the videos out there. So if you wouldn't mind doing me that small favor, I would appreciate it. And let's see here, the indicators, the old, you know, HL5 is the one plotting the lines. Yeah, just so you guys know, the dashboard doesn't plot lines. Maybe if I do a 2018, or when I do the 2018, that would be one of the features. People have asked for that. So that might be something coming down the pike, or the pipe, depending on how you like to say that. Okay, moving on to the buy zone. You see we had a trigger here and should have taken profit somewhere up here, I would think. You can look at some of these other candles there. You can see that. Probably time to take profit. Shouldn't have given back any more than right there. I mean, you can see that. And then here we had a short. Take some money off the table. Short again. Big payoff. And once again, where do you look for that give back? Right about there, maybe. When you're looking over here, just, that's what the left side of the chart's good for, right there. It's like, okay, it stopped, started coming back. Just take your money off the table. I think I need a new mouse, or I need to change the sensitivity. Okay, here we have the rat zone. As you can see here, there wasn't much of a rat zone at this time, but here we had a nice break, another nice break, and looks like we're breaking out of the rat zone again. Green rats should be feasting. And the pivot, we had the open, we had fade to the pivot. That was that happened. Yesterday's pivot didn't get hit. Preceding day's pivot didn't get hit. Price action, once again, fellow traders, you see that two ball there. You see, here we go, green, red, break of that low, or you can see right here, green at the line, turns around, red at the line. You just trade with the H1 candle color at the line. I mean, once again, here we've got red, green, break of the high of the green. You can see what happened. You see here we had a red candle this hour. If you went short at the double O, you could have cashed out at the 90, 10 pips in your pocket. Not too shabby for an hour's work. Okay, once again, looking at yesterday's 5 lines. I mean, it's really interesting. If you look at the methods, how many use these 5 lines. But once again, just trading with candle color at the line. Doesn't matter if they're yesterday's lines or if they're just, you know, every 10 pips. Horizontal lines don't move for the most part. I mean, if you've got the floating pivot, it moves, or the current close line would move, but the other ones, they pretty much stay put. And that's the way I like it. Stationary targets are much easier to hit. And the wick zone, when you look at something like this, you know the wick zone trades, you know, the zones are so big it's almost untradeable. It's like, okay, well, price doesn't like staying in the zone, but geez, once it leaves it this way. So obviously this is consolidation here. You know, price is ranging in this area, so you have to look for a breakout for something to happen. But on the other hand, the holo zone, here we go, out, out, and out. So sometimes, you know, if one tool doesn't work, then you find another tool that'll do the job, because you have to trade in the moment. And the squigglies with all the you know what, this looks like one of those charts on drugs. It really does. You know, with all this stuff you can barely see price, but you know, some people like trading like this, and who am I to deny them their trading pleasure? But you know, if you stayed short because the moving average here was heading to the south, well, you're still making money, so you can't argue with that. And if you know you got these fib lines, these fib zones here, price doing its thing. Boy, you know, now that I look at it, there's something I could add here. That's all I need is something else on my to-do list. I could put the distance in pips that price is from each one of these levels. I'll have to think about if I feel like doing that or not. My to-do list is so big. Guys keep sending me good ideas to implement. So, but at the moment, I'm also involved in some non-trading things. It's like my plate is full. And here we're looking at the tick chart. You can see here that the ask made a valley. The bid broke up through it. And then the bid made a peak. The ask broke down through it. And so as you can see here, the bid made a peak. The ask broke down through it. So we are selling because the ask is below the peak. And if the bid gets below or gets above that valley here, then we'll be buying again. And so that pretty much wraps it up. Once again, traders, you need to know when to quit. So think about it, write it down, follow your plan, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. TheRumpledOne signing off.